Everyone expects a dramatic moment, a shocking headline, a sudden market drop, urgent alerts. But the warning signs in December 2025 are more concerning precisely because they are subtle. Recent business surveys suggest the U.S. economy is still expanding, but at a slower pace than in recent months. Meanwhile, operating costs are rising quickly, near the hottest levels in almost 3 years, especially across services. Imagine a well-lit store with few shoppers, while expenses at the register keep piling up. In a typical slowdown, prices tend to ease. This time, however, costs keep rising even as demand softens. That combination has a name: stagflation, when inflation runs high while growth slows. It's not a sudden break, it's a grind that's hard to escape. To understand how it happens, we need to rewind. Rewind to 1974-75. Imagine a long line of cars at a gas station, the air smelling like exhaust, and people staring at price signs like they can't believe them. In the mid-1970s, an oil shock made energy far more expensive, and that cost spread into almost everything: shipping, heating, and food. That creates a painful mix. The economy weakens, but prices don't calm down. And here's the rhyme with today. In the 1970s, oil is the bill that jumps. In 2025, businesses are again saying our bills are rising, even as growth cools. Now jump back to late 2025 and imagine a coffee shop. The line is short. In a normal slowdown, the owner can cut prices to bring people back. But today, they can't easily do that because input costs are rising. Input costs are the basic bills a business must pay to operate, like rent, supplies, and wages. Surveys suggest these costs are rising in services, the places people visit every day, like restaurants, repairs, and clinics. Now zoom out. Imagine that coffee shop problem hitting millions of businesses at once. So what actually makes this machine run? Let's crack open the engine. Think of the economy like a sandwich press. Customers push from the top, costs push from the bottom. If both push at once, the business in the middle gets squeezed. When businesses get squeezed, they start making defensive choices. They try small price hikes where they can. They cut hours. They delay hiring. They pause new projects. None of this feels like a dramatic collapse. It feels like a slow tightening. And there's another pressure point: the central bank. It usually tries to do two things: keep prices from rising too fast and keep the economy from stalling. If growth looks weak, lower rates can help. If inflation looks hot, higher rates can cool things down. But when both problems show up together, each choice has a trade-off. Helping growth can keep inflation hotter than people want. Fighting inflation can keep growth weaker than people can tolerate. The system doesn't break instantly, it grinds. And then the first hairline fracture appears. In 1974 and 1975, that fracture turned into a long squeeze. Businesses face higher costs they can't escape, and customers who are already stretched. Businesses can't raise prices forever because people pull back, but they also can't swallow the higher bills without damage. So profits thin out. Plans get canceled, confidence drains. Markets don't need one giant cliff drop to hurt people. A long bleed can do the job because it changes how everyone feels about the future. That's why the 1970s became a textbook nightmare. It isn't just inflation, and it isn't just slow growth. It's the toxic mix of both: stagflation, where people feel like they're working harder and still sliding backward. And the weird part is, this kind of pain doesn't need a recession headline to feel real. When the dust settles, the world isn't the same. Now the ripples hit the shore. Back in 2025, this is not a guarantee of what happens next. It's a warning light from surveys. Growth is cooling while costs stay stubborn. If that mix lasts, the ripples look very human. Hiring slows before layoffs start. Raises get smaller before jobs disappear. Small businesses feel the squeeze first because they can't negotiate lower bills as easily as big companies can. And for regular people, it shows up in everyday moments. The mechanic quote that feels a lot higher than last year, the grocery bill that stings, the "we're not hiring right now" email that lands like cold water. It doesn't feel like an explosion. It feels like walking through thick mud. So what do we take from this? The lesson from 1974 to 1975 is simple. The most painful shifts are often the quiet ones. When costs stay high and growth slows, profits get squeezed, and profits affect everything. Here's one more term to keep in your pocket. Profit margin means what a business keeps after paying its bills. When margins shrink across many businesses, the whole engine loses power. Less hiring, less investment, less confidence. This video isn't financial advice, it's a history lens. The 1970s remind us that you don't need a dramatic crash to feel real damage. Sometimes the warning is a whisper, not a siren. So here's my question. In your town, are you seeing businesses raise prices even though they look less busy? And what's the clearest example you've noticed?